it's amazing that as I said before, that they've taken these classic Jerry Garcia, Robert Hunter tunes, and he's giving it a Eric Krasno, soul
Hmm.
live, lettuce spin to it. And you can tell, he grew up obviously on classic rock before he got more into funk and soul music and hip hop and all the other stuff that he's had so much success in. And you really could see him touching on all of those styles of music and that kind of joint history when he plays this classic song.
It is time.
We have a great list of music ahead of us that we're going to be listening to. So why don't we start off by our first song that we're going to be listening to by Eric Krasno. So Mike, how did Mike Greenhaus and Eric Krasno first happen? Do you remember when was the first time you ever heard of like Soul Live, or how did he first come on your radar?
Well, I think the first time I heard about So Live was when they played Wetlands all the time. But the first time I actually saw them would probably be Berkfest 2000. I believe they did one of the late night sets at that festival, which was kind of one of the kind of prototype festivals for what became kind of the festival scene a few years later. And that was, as you mentioned, back in his So Live days. And it's been really cool to see him kind of break out as a solo artist. There's been a lot of Eric Krasno collaborations in the last few years, and I think the song we're about to hear is something he did in our studio, our Relic studio here in New York City.
Yeah, and not only is he cool solo, but he won some Grammys with Tedeschi Trucks and Derek Trucks, which I actually didn't even know that until like right before like we came on. I was kind of like doing some Googling. I'm like, dang, because I knew he did Lettuce and I knew he did Soul Live. So it's so cool, to see somebody be able to essentially mold himself into each scenario that he needs to be in while also, staying true to what he wants to do. It's really, really difficult, And then I know he also did something with Grizz, right? Which is again really cool, stepping out of the box and doing something that maybe not a lot of people are being able to check out, but at that point. But it's so cool that that's how you get yourself out there and do things that are out of the box, which is what I love when artists do. So
I think he actually just got another Grammy nomination and Grammy win for his work with Aaron Neville just this year.
Right, I do. So it's so cool,
to
see someone that, maybe you saw him when he's not having all these accolades. And I'm sure that in your life, you're just seeing a lot of these artists that are just coming, like starting from, the bottom and just working hard and working their way up and getting accolades and getting these big shows. And it just must be so cool to be able to see that, because I know that like the next round of artists like Dogs in a Pile and Eggy, and it's like these waves, of different generation of artists, and it's just so great, to see them up and coming and things like that. So we're going to be listening to Eric Krasno live from the Relic studio in 2022. He's going to be covering Deal, which was actually a song written by Jerry Garcia, which was featured in the 1972 album Garcia. So we're here with Mike Greenhaus listening to Deal right here on Galaxy Jams Reacts. Nice, that James Casey?
Yeah, but special sit-in for the Relic studio. And he, of course, is known for his work with Trey and now Phil Lesh, but played with So Live and Lettuce and all those guys early on as well.
Sounds great. The mixing is superb.
Really good, yeah.
You and me got to spend some time wondering what to do. Goes to show, don't ever know. Watch each card you play, play it slow, baby. Wait until that deal come round. Don't you let that deal go down. I began to hear about. Take a solid here.
So the keyboardist is playing bass, right?
Yeah. Another hallmark of his work with So Live.
Awesome.
I love the half step up. That's good.
Yeah. Really being tasteful.
Oh, let's go.
Good, man. They're giving each, they're like passing the football expertly.
Yeah.
Since you poured the wine for me, tightened up my shoe. Hate to leave you sitting there, composing lonesome blue. Goes to show, don't ever know. Watch each card you play it slow, baby. Wait until that deal come round. Don't you let that deal go down, no. Wait until that deal come round. Don't you let that deal go down.
His tone is so good.
Cool to hear him do, Krasno spin on a classic Dead tune.
Right. There you go, dude. Straight to the goods. Man, I love watching, like a guitar player simultaneously pick notes out of the sky, like out of thin air, and then also use like every single, brain valley that they developed through years of playing like at the same time, right? Like they're harnessing like every single pattern they ever used while also just kind of like grabbing inspiration out of thin air and running with it. And he's doing such a good job of doing this,
Yeah,
What does this make you think about when you watch it, Mike?
It's amazing that, as I said before, that he's been taking these classic Jerry Garcia, Robert Hunter tunes, and he's giving it a Eric Krasno, live, lettuce spin to it. And you can tell, he grew up obviously on classic rock before he got more into funk and soul music and hip hop and all the other stuff that he's had so much success in. And you really could see him touching on all of those styles of music and that kind of joint history when he plays this classic song.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree with that. Kai, what did you think?
I really like his voice, and I'm not as well versed on Dead stuff, but I know that John Mayer is singing with Dead now, right?
Right.
You can tell the similarities in like inflection, and is that just because of the song itself, or is that because of like their individual styles actually.
I think
being
that
so-
he's trying to do the song service while also putting his own spin on it. I mean, when you do a cover, like you kind of have like a different approaches, right? Like one, you can be like, I'm literally going to do this song the way that it was written, like as close as I possibly can. Or the other extreme where it's like you're doing like this whole remix that doesn't sound anything like it, but it kind of like has like a hint of what you're going for. And this is kind of more towards like the traditional, like paying homage to a great tune.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. What about you, Lucy? What do you think?
I love it. Obviously I come from the country music scene, so I don't typically listen to this kind of music, particularly rock, but I can just appreciate good musicianship any day. And especially for me being classically trained, like I love just listening to musicians on stage pass around solos like that.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. Go on.
Yeah, where everybody gets a chance to shine. It's not just about the lead singer. You can tell that this whole band is just so tight and so talented, and you know that they've logged like well over 10,000 hours of practice into their craft. And I mean, it doesn't matter what the genre is. If I'm sitting in an audience and listening to musicians like that, I'm sold.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a language, like when you're like really good musicians, it's like harder to mess up than it is to not mess up. It's like when we're talking right now, like we're all fluent in this language. And so it's easy for us to pass the football and be like, hey, what do you think? Or introduce new conversation topics and things like that. And that's pretty much what they're doing here. Like they're like doing the beginning, and then Eric Krasno is like looking at one of them and he's like, you. And then they go for predetermined amount of time, and then they nod to the next person, you. And it's like that until they come back to, Eric, where he's about to round it out here. And I see this kind of thing all the time, and it seems like an easy thing, but it's like it's really not. You have to play a lot to be able to just kind of like telepathically know what the other person wants to do in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the sheer technique that it takes, that's not just something that you learn overnight. Like this is lifetimes of gaining that skill and practicing off stage to be able to do that on stage. So
yeah. Did you know, Mike, that they were planning on doing a Grateful Dead cover for this Relic session, or did they just bust it out?
They did not tell us in advance, but I think sometimes there's something about playing the Relic studio that makes people want to dig into their Grateful Dead past, which we of course enjoy. And when it came to the John Mayer comparison, maybe there's something from them both being from Fairfield County, Connecticut. Maybe there's something in the water there that gives that kind of raspy, soulful voice to the Dead songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, thanks for that. And Ford's No there in the chat says, I was about to say far less eloquently what Mike just said. You can definitely hear all these layers, flavors layered on into that classic Grateful Dead melody. And Rachel CR 1989 in the chat says that she loves that saxophone, and the Coniferous Lounge said that's sounding very nice. All right, let's jump back into it.
Don't you let that tear go down. Don't you let that tear go down. Don't you let that
He's giving me those love me eyes.
Don't you let that tear go down. Don't you let that tear go down.
Got the harmonies. Love
Don't
it.
you let that tear go down. No. Don't you let that tear go down. Don't you let that tear.
Nice. That must have been so fun for them to do.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. All in a
So
day's
fun.
work, fellas. All in a day's work. Hi, this is Mike with Galaxy Jams Reacts. We hope that you enjoyed that React video. Be sure to check out the links below of when we're going to be live streaming our next show, and also how to watch full episodes. Please hit that subscribe button. Every single one helps.